looks like they sell, besides the Nighthawk, they have something called the Harman Spark.
I've seen that.
Global modem, the Arlo Go. That's a camera, though, it looks like. So that's not a hotspot. So I would, honestly, to me, check the only issue will be check the plan that you're going to get on the, because it's $20, but if you're hotspotting, I believe there's a different limit on it. So you get
check on that one.
Yeah, that's what I would check. iPad plan. I also use, I use AT&T on my iPad, and I think I use Google's Fi on that. The nice thing about Fi is it doesn't matter if you're hotspotting or not. It's $10 a gigabyte, period.
Just pay for the data.
Yeah. I'm sure AT&T has a limit on hotspotting.
Well, we wouldn't be doing a lot of the hotspotting, but my wife would be using her phone from time to time for her personal use. But it wouldn't be a lot. We just mostly want to get access to the internet regularly, reliably.
Yeah, so I think there might be a little confusion. Just to clarify, if you're not near a Wi-Fi access point, your internet is coming through the cellular network. Hotspot doesn't refer to that. It refers to simply the fact that you're connecting one device to another device to get the internet. So in the case of a iPad, you're using it as your hotspot, or you can buy these little MiFis or other devices and using that for the internet. But otherwise, it's the same. What's different is the plans. So anytime you're not on Wi-Fi, you're going to be using cellular data. You're going to be paying for it. So the thing to figure out, and of course they don't make this easy, they want to confuse you, is what it's going to cost and how much, what your bandwidth caps are. That's what really varies.
Nope, I see. I'm pretty clear on that.
Okay, good. Okay.
I appreciate it, Leo.
Hey, I'm glad you called.
A lot.
Thanks, Gary. Sorry to keep you on hold for so dang long. Have a great time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy dancing to the music. I have my own theme song. It's time to talk tech. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. The phones are working. Lines are back up. Thank goodness. I didn't want to talk for 3 hours. I could. As you probably know, I have the capability. We have the technology. 8888 Ask Leo. I'd rather talk to you. Website, techguylabs.com. Line 4, Annette in Tustin. Thank you for patiently holding on, Annette.
No problem, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
So I upgraded my Windows 7 PC to Windows 10 about 6 months ago.
Yay.
Everything's been good.
Good.
Until about a week and a half ago.
Uh-oh.
I booted up my computer, and the Windows icon came on the screen, and there's usually a little progress indicator, little dots chasing each other around in a circle.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
Uh-oh.
And I waited and waited and waited. So I powered it off, powered it back on. It started up normally. Great. Well, that's the scenario every day now.
You got a double clutch to get it started, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried that one day it's just not going to start up.
Yeah.
So I did some looking on the internet, and there's all kinds of advice out there about unplugging USB devices and rebooting, or disabling fast startup, or doing a registry.
All of those are accurate.
Okay.
So there's the reason is it could be a lot of reasons for it. Certainly USB devices can halt boot. So if you've got an external drive or something plugged in, it's worth because that's the easiest thing to do. I always start with the easy stuff, right?
Right.
So let's unplug the USB devices, see if that stops it. Certainly turning off Windows Fast Boot is a good idea. Windows Fast Boot's a terrible feature that should not be on Windows, and it doesn't speed things up. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's dopey. But honestly, the symptom you described implies that the first time it's not warm enough. It's booting up from a cold start. The second time it's gotten a little warmer and it's doing better. That is not unusual with computer hardware, especially with spinning disks. Do you have the old style hard drive, not a solid state drive?
So I have a spinning disk. I do have a small solid state drive, which at least when I was running Windows 7, it would boot off that drive.
Okay.
But I don't know what it's doing now.
Yeah, that's that Intel hybrid drive, probably.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. The way this weird hybrid drive is supposed to work. It's a very small. It was a solution when SSDs were very expensive.
Right.
So it's very small. You've heard me talk. You're obviously sophisticated. You know all about all this stuff. So if this is not for your benefit, this is for everybody listening. But the idea was, SSDs are too expensive. We'll give you a teensy one, like a 64 gig SSD, too small to really be useful. But we'll put the things you need fastest, we'll put there, and the rest of it can be on the spinning drive, the less expensive spinning drive. It's not a good solution, and nowadays it's really better to use an SSD because the prices have fallen. What it sounds like to me, a solid-state drive wouldn't have this issue, but a spinning drive could, as it's cool. Just the alignment is slightly different as it warms up. Oh, yeah, I can read that sector. If you have a sector that's hard to read, sometimes as it warms up, it'll be easier to read. And this is a very common problem with spinning hard drives. So, honestly, I would try all the little things like the turn off fast boot and the USB. Everything you've read, try, as long as it's not significantly changing your system. But ultimately, it might be that a new hard drive helps. The other, and this would be a chance for you to put a nice fast SSD in there. And they're not expensive, $100.
Okay.
And you can do it. Is it a laptop or desktop?
It's a desktop.
Yeah, easy on a desktop. Easy peasy. The other thing, sometimes the power supplies will do this as well.
Okay.
And the power supplies, they're easy to replace, but a little risky because they have capacitors in them. They can hold a charge. They're not expensive. They're actually less probably than the hard drive replacement, but it involves opening the case, unscrewing some stuff, putting a new one in. It's a little trickier. But if the power supply is flaky and you're getting low voltage, and then the next time you turn it on, you get sufficient voltage for everything to start up, it starts up, that's fine. One way to fix this is just don't turn your computer off. Hello? Oh, no. Oh, no. I think the phone died again. Now, we have a fairly complicated phone system. And one of the pieces of that phone system is a voice over the internet provider. And we've checked our systems at the studio, rebooted them, everything's fine. But you hear that sound of silence? That means the trunk died. The VoIP service that we've used died, and we got the engineers. That one goes back down to you, Professor Laura, and the engineers in the Premier Network, because they are the people who lease that. Oh, she's back. Annette's back.
I'm back.
Did you do anything, or it just came back?
It just came back.
Okay, yeah, it's that line. Good. Oh, whew. So, wow. What did I ask you before we were so rudely interrupted? I can't remember. But yeah, I wouldn't do the power supply yourself. You sound fairly technical. If you feel comfortable doing it, that might be worth it. Getting a new hard drive, the nice thing about that is it's not a bad thing to do anyway. It's going to speed you up a lot. How big is the hard drive? And now she's gone. There's a technical term they use for this in the computer business. It's flapping. That's when something goes up and down and up and down. It kind of is like it's, flapping in the wind. It's flapping. This is separate from the connection we have to Premier. As obviously you still hear me. And Professor Laura still hears me. It's just the phone system, which is a completely separate system. So,
maybe a read.
I guess this would be a good time to talk a little bit about our fine sponsor. And wait a minute, is she back? Laura,
I'm back.
You're back. There's just the slightest hiss when you're on the line. It's very, very slight that I can hear. It's like suddenly you go away and then you come back. I think it's going to keep happening. So,
I think so.
How big is your hard drive? Is it big?
Yeah, I don't remember how big it is. Several gig.
Yeah. You can get a terabyte SSD, which would improve the performance of the whole machine for like $150.
Okay.
So try all the other stuff because that's free. But I think
Even the registry edit, they were talking about.
don't do it. No registry editing. what's happening is, I'll tell you what's happening. I know what's happening. Windows goes through this process of booting up. It gets right to the part where it starts to load in from the hard drive and it stops. And the system's going, gimme, 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 gimme. It's crashing. Now, it could be damaged also. I mean, one thing you might want to try is reformatting the disk and starting over. But spinning disks get bad sectors. That's what happens. They wear out. How old is the system?
Oh, it's probably about 6 years old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about right. You know, so what happens with spinning hard drives is if they don't die right away, like in the first 3 months because of manufacturing defects, they go pretty well for the first few years. And then this is from a study done by, I can't remember, is it Google or Backblaze, somebody like that. Then they start dying at the rate of 7% a year from then on. So after like year 3. At 7%. So it's just because they're wearing out. You won't have that same problem with a solid state drive. Doesn't mean that's what's going on. It's just one of the possibilities, but it's the most common by far.